Many minutes later, Alice emerged, clean and happy. She was clad in a white t-shirt and a diaper, held on by 2 pink safety pins. She once again made her way to the top of the mushroom, this time with much more ease. She sat alongside the caterpillar and breathed a deep sigh of relief. "Thanks again," she said. "No problem. Now we need to set about making the formula to shrink you down to baby size. After that, it's off to see the Queen with my friend, the Duchess." "How do I know the Duchess will take me with her? What if she's already left?" Alice was worried. "Trust me. Her child is a terror. She never gets time away from him, and she wouldn't dare bring such a rude brat to the palace. The Queen hates whiny children. The Duchess would love to go to one of the Queen's parties, and with me taking care of the kid, and you're traveling with her, she'll finally get to attend. It will work. I give you my word." The caterpillar smiled, then added, "What's wrong? I don't feel so good all of a sudden. My stomach hurts again." This was followed immediately by another loud fart, and Alice once again set to soiling her diapers. With more force than ever, another round of poop forced its way into Alice's diapers. She could only look on in anguish as the fresh diaper began to fill out with the weight of another wet mess. Luckily, this little accident wasn't nearly as big as Alice's last, and the diaper was able to contain it. "So, you're sure you don't need diapers?" the caterpillar joked. Alice once again made her way to the tall grass. She removed the dirty diaper and cleaned up. She removed the baby powder from the diaper bag and spread a liberal amount in the midsection of a thick flannel diaper. She pinned it on, and pinned a second diaper on, just in case. Alice hoped it wouldn't be necessary, but after her last accident, she wasn't taking any chances. Over her diapers, she pulled on a pair of rubber pants. She was careful to ensure there was no lock, and then lastly she pulled on a beautiful pink party dress, much like the one she'd had on earlier. She checked herself and was aware that her diapers were painfully obvious, but Alice liked it better than the sailor's outfit. She headed back to the caterpillar who was still smoking away on his hookah. "Well, my dear. All cleaned up. Good. Now let's get to gathering the materials necessary for the shrinking potion." The caterpillar proceeded to give her instructions. "Go down to the creek bed just a short walk from here." He pointed in the direction of a clearing. "Once there, you should find some glowing green weeds. Pick a nice handful and bring them back to me." Alice nodded and went about gathering the weeds. As the caterpillar had said, she located the creek and the weeds with no problems. She made her way carefully over to where the plants were growing. It was then that Alice heard the faint sound of someone crying. She looked around but didn't see anyone. She grabbed a good handful of the weeds and turned to head back to the caterpillar when she saw the source of the crying. Alice went on her way through the woods. She was getting used to the bulk of her diapers, and had they not been showing so obviously beneath the hem of her dress, one would never know she was wearing them. She made good time, and sure enough, she arrived at a small house nestled in the woods. Alice heard a great commotion coming from behind the house, and suddenly had second thoughts about presenting herself in such babyish attire to what Alice was sure must be a horde of people. However, she knew she couldn't go back to the caterpillar empty-handed, so she swallowed her pride and headed around to the back of the house. She was surprised to see only 2 people at a large table. Upon further inspection, Alice saw a small mouse sitting in a teacup on the table. A white rabbit was seated beside the mouse, and at the head of the table sat a wiry man whom Alice assumed must be the Hatter. They were banging dishes and shouting at each other so much that they didn't hear her approach. "Excuse me," said Alice, trying to get their attention. No one paid her any mind. "Excuse me," shouted Alice. Again, nobody took notice. Alice screamed at the top of her lungs, "Excuse me." All activity stopped. My, have you lost your way, little girl?" said the Hatter. Alice noticed that the mouse had fallen asleep in his glass and was bobbing around in the tea. No, I haven't. I was hoping you could help me. I need some of your tea. Alice smiled her sweetest smile, hoping to get the tea quickly and then get back to the caterpillar. Well, you've come to the right place. The Hatter's party is certainly the only place you'll find his tea, commented the rabbit. Thank you, Mr. Rabbit. Yes, I know that. I am the March Hare, my dear. No, Rabbit. Snubbed the March Hare. It's rude to interrupt people, snapped Alice. And it's rude to tell people they're rude, retorted the March Hare. The Hatter intervened, saying, Children, children, let's not fight. Come, my dear, sit down. He beckoned to Alice to sit next to him. She took a place in a large wooden chair to the left of the Hatter. You want my tea, and my tea you shall have. The Hatter placed a large teacup in front of Alice. It looked more like a bowl than any teacup, and Alice was glad to have two handles, one on either side, to hoist the dish to her mouth. Drink up, baby, stated the March Hare. I am not a. Alice started. She realized it was a useless argument, and decided to just keep quiet. She started sipping the tea, which she found to be quite tasty. Before long, Alice was taking large gulps of the hot liquid. It warmed her insides, and Alice believed it was just about the tastiest liquid she'd ever had. Slow down, cried the Hatter. There's more where that came from.